All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Dream Team Monday Zoom. I want to let you know this is going to be a interactive working Zoom today. You are going to do yourself a big favor if you have a pen and a paper, because we're going to do some thinking. We're going to do some writing down. Now, I know some of you are coming, you got your earbuds in and you're at work, so you may not be able to do that. But just know if you can jot some things down, if you're able to take notes, that would be very helpful for you. If not, obviously this replay will be on YouTube. You can watch it again and again. But last night, if you were on our power plan, I kind of got a little bit of a high horse, if you will, about something that I have been screwing up on lately. Like, what is this, July? I'd say April and May, I did a really bad job about making sure that my content was specific to my ideal client. I got very into my niche, right? Very into my brand. And I don't know if it's just because we did so much brand stuff that I just got so into it, but also it's a lot easier if you're just in your brand, right? Because it's just who you are. You don't have to think about anything. So I started losing track of actually speaking to my ideal customer when I was making my content. And the more I've talked to people about it, they're like, okay, well, I finally have my brand, but what do you mean? How do I make my brand talk to my ideal client? Or some people, if you're newer, you may not even know who your ideal client is. I will tell you, having done this now for 9 years, when I first started, I just sold Thrive to anybody and everybody. If they had a pulse and they got near me, I was like, shoot, you need it. Same with like signing people up as a promoter. Come on, yeah. Anybody, how many of you are like, oh, anyone can do this? Because technically anyone can. But I have learned over the years now that I don't want everybody and anybody. Especially when it comes to promoters. I don't want everybody and anybody. And when you bring on people with that everybody and anybody mentality, if I look back now, those people are gone. They don't promote. They're glorified customers at this point. They're just, some of them still thrive. Some of them have like disappeared completely. And same with the customers who like were kind of like oh, I'm giving it away half off, or oh, I'm giving a free box of DFT because I was trying to get on a trip, right? So what I'm really trying to do with obviously myself and our team is I think we need to have fun with it. And I love that's why we get to be in our brand when we're on social media, because we get to be ourselves. We get to be doing the things that we love, but we can't lose track of why we're on there, right? Like I'm not I don't have a garden center. If I make a post about planting something, I can't sell that to someone. I can't make any money off of that, right? So it's not going to do me. Will that give me followers and fun stuff? Yeah, heck yeah, it will. People will follow that. But I need to monetize my following. I need to monetize my time on social media. So that's why we're going to dig into the ideal customer today. So obviously, like normal, this is not my Zoom, it's our Zoom. If you need to unmute and chit chat, if you want to put and type anything in the chat, that's fine too. But I know some of you, it's easier to just unmute and talk. Just do it when you feel it. Okay. So I am going to read some things to you just because I don't want to miss anything, but I'm also going to be asking or I'm going to be telling you some questions to ask yourself. So that's why I was saying pen and paper will be handy. So this might seem a little different because there will be some quiet time on our Zoom today, because I will ask questions to give you time to think about it. So why is it so important to identify your prospect client is so you can create strategies to market, sell, and service to that particular customer. Sometimes it gets overwhelming if you don't know who your ideal customer is, because you're trying to come up with a gazillion different kinds of content. You're trying to talk about a gazillion different, are you talking about sleep? Or are you talking about energy? Are you talking about aches and pains? Are you talking about gut health? Right? It can get very overwhelming because you're just all over the board. So not only will this help you, but this will also help all of the work that you do to make it very direct and specific. We're gonna focus on what problem our business can solve and what our ideal client values are about the work that we do. Because I don't want to rock anybody's world or hurt anybody's feelings, but there are people out there who give a rat's ass that we sell Thrive, because they don't care about their health. They don't care about vitamins. And I know, because I see it all the time, we are a very loving group of individuals, and we care about people, but we spend too much time caring about people that don't care about what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to stop doing that. And this is how we're going to stop doing that. So one of the first things when you get finished, will you take a pic or post all the questions? Yes, I will. First thing we're going to do is actually is kind of counterintuitive to what most people think when you're trying to identify your ideal client. First thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about who is not our ideal client. Okay, so you're going to have to start thinking, because when we work with people who are not our ideal client, we waste our time. I can think back to so many people that I have poured into, that I've tried to help, I've tried to lift up, and I've literally wasted my time. I don't want to work with people that it's just going to go on and on and on and drag on and on and on. And there's the thing about ghosting. When somebody ghosts you, people get really caught up in that. Believe people when they show you who they are. Okay, if they're ghosting you, they're not interested. It doesn't mean you never talk to them again. It doesn't mean you take them off their list, but leave them alone and go talk to someone who is, and then follow back up later on. And if you're ghosted again, they've shown you who they are, leave them alone, go keep moving forward. All right, so it's time for you to decide who you're going to say goodbye to so that you can stop serving the clients who don't serve you. Now, this goes with customers as well as promoters, okay? So a lot of us have promoters or glorified, or what do I call them? Glorified customers. And again, I see it all the time, pouring in, pouring in, pouring in, pouring in, and you're not getting anything back. And it's such a waste of your time and your energy and your gift, right? Like, we're going to talk to people we want to talk to. So anyway, basically breaking up with that, we're going to free up time for more dreamy customers who are perfect for our niche. So we're going to get very specific about who we no longer want to work with. So here's your the first step to calling in these customers. There are 2 action items for this. Number 1, we're going to identify past clients who were a wrong fit, and we're going to investigate what went wrong. So I want you to just jot down really quickly, who are some people that you worked with in the past and it didn't work out? Maybe they've stopped thriving. Maybe they've dropped off of your team, right? Just jot down those names. And I want you to, at least 2 or 3 people, I want you to stop and think, what went wrong? Now, here's the thing that most of you are going to do. Most of you are going to go to the moment where the shit hit the fan and they said something mean to you, or they blocked you, or they badmouthed you behind. Okay, that's not what went wrong. That was a result of something that already went wrong. I know for a fact, I personally have pushed people into the business. That's what went wrong. Did it eventually blow up, or did it eventually turn into something weird? Or like, now if they see me at Kroger, do they run from me because they're like, oh my God, there she is, right? Or did they say something? Did they eventually get flustered and say something shitty about me behind my back when then now I was mad at them? But in reality, if I work my way back, I push them into the business. Okay? So I want you to think, what went wrong? Investigate it. Like, really think about it in your head. 1 or 2 people that you've worked with in the past, what went wrong? It could be like, on the flip side, as a customer, maybe somebody thrived for 1 or 2 months and they disappeared. Well, what went wrong? Well, maybe I gave them half off that first month. And maybe they had no idea how much money they were going to have to spend and they weren't prepared for it. Right? What went wrong?
I think in trying to be helpful and we try to help our customers, we end up coddling them so much that they don't do for themselves.
Mhm.
And when an order goes through that you didn't intend to, it backfires and bites you in the butt and they blame you. Whereas you were trying to help them, but maybe we've coddled them too much.
That's a very good indicator. So, and that's the thing too, to keep an eye on how, so she's saying there was a moment where somebody's order went through, they didn't want it. And they were like, oh my gosh, why didn't you cancel my order? Or why did I get this order? And they're like mad. And that's the moment that we remember. But thinking back, she's remembering that when it came time to place their order, she placed it for them. She coddled them. She didn't explain to them how to place their order. She did it for them. So they're literally not taking any responsibility. You guys, I order from Amazon all day long. They do not help me in any way, shape, or form. And if you do that subscribe and save and you forget to unsubscribe, they do not say, oh, we're so sorry for your loss of, whatever money. They're like, well, you're the one that clicked the button, dingling. Right? So yeah. So sometimes we might be the problem with the person. Now I am going to flip the switch on that though. Now I want you to identify red flags or deal breakers that you have experienced. So I'll go back to the first example. When you're like, if I was pushing someone into the business, I'm sure there were red flags. I just ignored them. Right? I mean, that's every young girl's love life right there. There were red flags galore. You dated him anyway. He broke your heart, right? So it's the same thing with customers and promoters that you've brought into this business. Think of the red flags. Were they constantly trying to tell you that they didn't think it would work, or so-and-so said they shouldn't do it, or like, were they being influenced outside of themselves? That's a red flag, right? It's one thing to take in information to make a decision, but when they're constantly saying, my husband says this, my husband says that, my husband says this, my husband says that, they're not taking in information, they're taking in directive from someone. I mean, I've had people straight up tell me, well, I'm going to order this 1 month, but I can't afford it after that. That's a red flag, Tammy. It's a big red flag. But in my mind, I was like, wow, they're going to love it so much. I just know they're going to. I just know they're going to stick with it. Right. And here's the thing. I'm not saying this is every single person. There are people who ordered it 1 month and did fall in love with it and did realize that health was a priority and they did change their life. But the majority of time when somebody says to you, well, I'm just going to place this one order, it's not that you can't still do the customer service follow up with them, but you don't latch your business around them, right? Like very often I see people say, I've been working for 6 months to get Aunt Sally to finally order. Well, what the hell are you spending 6 months on one person for? That is not going to make your business goals come to life. Okay. All right. So, and again, and this is a practice that could go on. And this is one of those things where you're going to have to sit down and get real honest with yourself. Because like I said, it's very easy to think, well, the reason it didn't work out with her was because she was blah, 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 blah. But what got her to that point? And did she tell you that in the beginning? And you just ignored it, right? So we're going to take some responsibility for that. Now we're going to start to identify the prospects. We're going to start to identify the ideal clients that we actually want to bring in. Okay. So now that we know who we don't want to work with, it's time to describe who we actually do want to work with. So number one, what is that person's budget? Your ideal customer, what is their budget? I don't know about you, but I want somebody who has a budget dedicated to health and wellness. I want somebody who understands the value of their health, like long term, right? Again, this is just me being, this is my ideal client. I don't want somebody who's just willing to put some money into their body for a month because they've got a vacation coming up and they want to drop 10 pounds. I want somebody who really wants to be healthy long term. What is their style or current circumstances? And again, don't feel bad. This is our sweet little group of overthinkers. Do not feel bad when you start to describe the budget, the style, and the circumstances of your ideal customer. It doesn't mean you're not going to help other people. It doesn't mean that you don't value other people. We're just putting together our ideal person. Okay. So my ideal person, I'm going to give you guys my particular ideal person. I'm looking for a woman who is middle-aged, who is starting to experience the effects of aging and realizes she wants to get a hold of things and she wants to turn her physical health around. I'm also looking for a middle-aged woman who is just highly overworked, which is pretty easy to find, specifically a brick and mortar entrepreneur or a corporate American woman who is overworked, hustle, has no time to care for herself. Because not only do I want to teach her how to care for herself, I want to show her how to earn extra income so she can pull back from those other commitments, so she can start taking care of herself in more than one way. I know that. That's the person I want to talk to. That's a pretty specific person. And that's where you want to get, because here's the thing, when you sit down to do your reel or your post, if you know that person in your head, it's so easy to talk to them. If you go to make a reel and you're like, well, I want to attract a new customer. Well, I mean, a new customer could come from $10 off. A new customer could come from bad gut health, like, right, it could come from a lot of places. So if the more specific you are, the better. Okay, the best way to attract clients who are a great fit for your business is to get specific for your ideal niche. Here is a list of questions. So I'm gonna go slow. Number one, what is their budget for the service or product that you're offering? Remember, our meal system, our fresh meals, that is a product, but it's also a service. Okay. So what is the budget for the service or product that you're offering? Where do they live and where do they work? What kind of activities does your ideal customer like to do for fun? Like if you're in your soccer mom era, you might really want to hang out with other soccer moms, right? But if you're in your Nini, what do they call you, Charlotte? Nini? I know I've asked you this before. Not Nanny. Mimi? Anyway, if you're in that era, you might want to talk to more of those people, right? Because you know what they're doing, what activities they're doing for fun. You know that they're maybe taking their Nini. Okay, I was right. You know they're taking their grandkids swimming, or they're taking their grandkids to a museum. Like those are, you know, those are the activities that they're doing because that's the era that you're also in. Whereas the soccer mom, you know, she's probably really into a Chick-fil-A run on a Saturday afternoon. She probably loves a good Target stop, right? Like that's different people right there. How do they spend their free time? When that soccer mom has free time, like literal free time, no child at home, no game to go to, how is she spending her free time? Versus Nini when she has free time, because she has a lot more free time. Well, I shouldn't say that, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, probably has more free time. Also, the soccer mom probably has less disposable income than Nini, right? Nini is just spoiling her grandkids. She's not feeding her children constantly, although I know Charlotte is. What values do they hold that align with your values? Right? Obviously, you guys all value your health. Does your ideal client also value their health? Are they looking for long-term health? Are they looking to correct their health? Are they looking to nip it in the bud? Like maybe you're a promoter who's pretty young and pretty healthy, and you want people who are also young and healthy that want to stay that way. Or maybe you're a promoter who has been up, down, and all around, and you now value the consistency that you're able to get with Thrive, and you're looking for somebody who values that as well. Am I appealing to a specific niche in my industry? So, excuse me. So in other words, are you, that kind of goes to like, are you appealing to the busy soccer mom? Or are you appealing to the corporate American? Or like how I said, I'm trying to appeal to the brick and mortar entrepreneur, right? Maybe you're trying to talk with the empty nesters. I couldn't think what that was called. And empty nesters, or there's all this like fun stuff, which I love that they have this now. They didn't have it when I was younger, but like that dual income, dual income, no kids. So like young couples that don't have kids that are both making bank that can go do all the fun stuff they want to do. Like maybe that is that a niche or like somebody that you're talking to. What is their background story and buying behavior? Like you probably know that soccer mom, her buying behavior is probably kids first, her last, versus the dinks, the dual income, no kids. Their buying behavior is going to be very different. Okay, so now we're going to focus on your ideal client's problems, because again, to serve them better, well, first you got to find them, and then to serve them better, you got to know like what's making them tick in the good and the bad way. You have to understand your ideal client's pain points and how you can address them, what your business offerings and can do as a solution for them. Because remember, no one is like, oh yeah, I just want to try vitamins to try. People want a solution. I'm not sleeping well. I need a solution. My stomach is always messed up and bloated. I need a solution. I have headaches every damn day. I need a solution, right? Like people seek out a solution. If you think about it, everything you've purchased is a solution, right? You bought a pen and paper because you needed to write notes. They were the solution to your problem. Somebody might have bought or opened up their notes app on their phone. That would have been a solution to the same problem, right? So you are a particular solution to a problem. You're not the only solution, which I know is hard for us to accept, but we're not the only solution. So we have to really know what we're doing, right? Okay, by stepping into their shoes and solving the customer's exact problems, you'll also turn them into brand advocates and build a reliable referral pipeline for your business. So in other words, when you really step in and say, hey, I know that you're, from talking with you, XYZ is your biggest problem. This is what I can offer for you. And then that actually fixes their problem. They're going to love you. They're going to love your product and they're going to tell people about you, right? All right. So what problems do your ideal customers currently face that need to be solved? Again, that soccer mom, I'm just going to keep using these two spectrums or two examples because they're on the opposite end of the spectrum, because I think it just kind of helps you understand there's everything in between. That soccer mom may need a lot more energy to keep up with her kids because she is just morning, noon, and night, go, 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 right? Whereas Nini, maybe it will, I know this Nini isn't, but Nini might be slowing down a little bit more and she might need a solution to sleep better because she's having more aches and pains during the day, right? Like that's a very different mindset of what getting healthy means to those two different people. Okay, now here's where we're going to say, what do those problems feel like to them? Right? What does that problem feel like to them? How do they manifest that in their life? So again, how is it manifesting for Nini? That problem of not sleeping well is manifesting into maybe like feeling like slower response times with keeping up with children or knowing what their schedule is, moving slower in the morning. Let's just go with that one. So like Nini may be not sleeping well, which means in the morning she's not bouncing out of bed and starting her day like she wants to, because maybe her shoulder hurts and her left foot bothers her every morning when she wakes up. She's just not feeling good because of that. It wears her down, right? Whereas the soccer mom is not sleeping good. And because of that, she wakes up and she can't function without caffeine, which then turns into this crazed, high cortisol, nervous wreck of a mom who's trying to chase kids around, right? We're getting really specific. So they're both not sleeping well, but they're having different problems. They're having a different life because of that problem. Like a lot of people struggle with sleep, but it doesn't mean the same thing to everyone else, right? Like if I struggle with sleep, it may mean something totally different to me than if Carolyn is struggling with sleep, right? Maybe I'm tossing and turning all night. I can't get comfortable. Maybe I'm waking up sneezing all night long or something like that. Whereas maybe Carolyn just feels, maybe she's sleeping all night long, but she's not resting, right? So we have two very different situations with the same problem. How does my business solve these problems? So again, with that same scenario, by filling the nutritional gaps in someone's body, we allow them to get a deeper, restful, more reparative sleep so that they wake up refreshed with less. So Nini's going to have less inflammation, less aches and pains in the morning. Soccer mom's going to have less delayed brain time. Like she's going to wake up and be able to kick in right away without having to reach for some sort of energy drink that's raising her anxiety. Okay, so are we doing okay? Am I moving too fast? Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk about our clients' values and desires, because now that you know their problems and how your business can solve them, let's talk about what they ultimately desire from you and what values guide them in making the purchasing decision. Because here's the thing, how many times have you had a problem and you know there's 4 different solutions out there and you've got to figure out which one you want to buy, right? Like maybe you needed new pillows. Well, there's how many pillows that you could go out and purchase. You could go to Walmart, you could go to Dillard's, you could go to Pottery Barn, you could go to Amazon, right? There's like a million things. So now we're going to find out what the value is of how they're going to make this purchase. What would your client's ideal life be like if this problem didn't exist? If that soccer mom had no trouble sleeping, how different would her life be? if Nene had no trouble sleeping and woke up completely refreshed, how different would her life be?
The fact that I slept good means I don't want to hurt my husband.
There you go. Save you marriages left and right. Okay, so this is going to be a fill in the blank for you. And again, this is one that you can think about for your ideal client. Move it like almost every single time you go to make any kind of content. Because of the problem my client is experiencing, they're feeling blank, overwhelmed, exhausted, frustrated, inflamed, you name it, right? We got all kinds of crap our clients are going through. But once this problem is solved, my ideal client will feel blank, refreshed, focused, healthy, like feeling healthy is a feeling, energized, right? So my client is the problem my client has is currently making them feel blank. Once I solve that problem for them, they are going to feel blank.
Will you repeat the second part of that again?
Yeah, because of the problem my client is experiencing, they're feeling blank. But once the problem is solved, my client will feel blank. All right, aside from solving their problems, right? So we're looking for they are looking for a solution to a problem. Again, that's the only reason people purchase things, right? That's the only reason people make purchases. They're even if like they're purchasing a beach house, right? That doesn't seem like it solves a problem, but in their mind, they wanted a place to vacation. So they, you know what I mean? Like every single thing you purchase is to solve a problem. So aside from solving that problem, what experience do they ultimately desire working with me? All right. So aside from solving their problem, what experience do they ultimately desire working with me? For example, let's say you need a dress to wear to a wedding. You're going to be a wedding guest. Okay. It might be the kind of thing where you're like, I'm hopping on Amazon. I'm ordering 30 of them. They're coming to the house. I'm trying them all on. And because I'm Prime, I'm sending 29 of them back for free. Right. The experience I want there is a lot of options. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to search for it. I just want it to show up at my house. That's okay, Joe. I want it to show up at my house and I want to move on with my life. Right. Or it could be, I'm going to go to Dillard's to the dress department. I'm going to ask the sales clerk there to help fit me and help me find a style that's flattering for my body. Those are two very different experiences for the same problem, right? So depending on what your ideal customer is looking for, are they looking for you to say, hey, let's talk about your health and I'm going to check in with you every week and I'm going to try to send you some recipes? Or are they like, girl, I just need you to help me. Just tell me what vitamins I need and leave me alone because I don't need to be answering emails all day. I don't have time for that right now. Right. So again, my examples of the soccer mom and the grandma. The soccer mom, she probably wants someone to really help her build that cart the first time and peek in on her maybe once a month, but she ain't got time to be answering your calls or your responding to your emails and all that jazz, right? She's busy. But Nene, she may really want you to check in on her every couple of days. She may really want you to shoot her a new recipe to try every now and then, or a link to a website that offers a walking routine or something, right? That's two very different experiences. So we have to understand, what does our ideal customer want? And what do they value the most about what we're doing? Because we're helping them with their health, but we're doing a lot here. By doing it with Thrive, we're helping them with their health very like it's simple. Thrive is simple, right? Do they value that? Because believe it or not, some people think if you're not taking 32 different things that you're not doing a good job. right? So there are some people that even if they have Thrive, they're still going to go buy 4 other things because they just value the excess in all of it, right? So does somebody value the fact that it's simple? Does somebody value the fact that we can put it on auto ship so they don't even have to think about it? Or does somebody value the fact that they don't have to put it on auto ship so that they can, you know, selectively pick and choose a la carte when they want it and what they want? Right? So what does your ideal client want? What do they value about the experience? Do they like the fact that it's all online and they don't have to talk to anybody? Or do they like talking to you? Now, I will read this just so you guys know. Don't be hard on yourself and don't expect yourself to have the right answer to every question. Okay, so these are just to get your brain thinking to start crafting your ideal person. Get curious about your ideal person, right? What do they think? What do they feel? Stay committed. Sometimes you have to think about what was important to you, right? What stood out to you about Thrive or the purchasing of it? Sometimes to help define these customers, you can take a look at your existing customers. Which ones are working out really well? What is it about them that's working out really well? Are they fitting that profile of the budget, the profile of the values? Are they fitting, they're like, they don't have red flags, right? Are they fitting into that? So the 4 that, like, I know it's taken us 32 minutes, but basically the 4 steps were to identify the clients that we don't want to deal with. We've identified who we do want to attract. We identified their problems, and we also identified their desires and values. Okay, those are the 4 things. Now that we know this, about our ideal customer, is this every customer we have? No, it's our ideal customer. It's who we want to talk to. Now we can use this information when we get a lead, or when we, like, so in other words, a lead. So when somebody was like, oh, hey, I think my friend Sally wants to try Thrive too. Right? How many of us have heard that from a Thriver or like a customer? Oh, I think my cousin wants to try it. Okay, now you know your ideal customer. And so when that cousin comes in and she's red flag after red flag after red flag, not that we're not going to help her, right? We're going to help her. We're going to answer her questions. We're even going to take that first order and we're going to follow up with her like we do with good customer service. But we already know that she may not be the one that sticks around for a really long time, right? But we're going to follow up. We're just not going to get our heart set on her because we know that we have 32 ideal customers for every non-customer sitting out there waiting on us. Okay. This way, yeah. So this way you don't spend time nurturing leads that are unlikely to convert. This is also how you can be more precise with your marketing. What are you talking about? When are you talking about it? Who are you talking to? This will help you create content that speaks directly to your ideal customer. So I know this was a lot. I know it's a lot of questions. I know it's a lot of thinking, but when you have it in your head, and I would encourage you to do this. I don't know, this just works for me. I gave her a name. My girl's name is Jennifer. She is a brick and mortar entrepreneur who hustles, constantly has got something going on, always looking for, like, always adding to her business, right? Not in a bad way, but she's spread pretty thin. So she needs to take care of herself because she's no spring chicken anymore. And she's also looking for extra income that would be easy to add to what they already have going on, right? And I just named her Jennifer. So when I take the time to make a post or a reel, I think, what would Jennifer care about? How can I talk to Jennifer, right? What is Jennifer's pain point today? What might Jennifer be thinking on a Monday versus Jennifer on a Friday? Right? So if I make a post on Monday and I'm talking about relaxing and having a bunch of free time and stuff like that, well, Jennifer's like, girl, I'm busy. I don't have time for that. Like, that's not the way my brain works. I got 4 businesses to run. Right? But on Friday, she might be like, whoo, I need to wind down. I've had a big week. So you can start being more precise with it. And I also will tell you, once you have this ideal client in your head and you can come up with some adjectives and some values and some pain points, plug it into your instructions in ChatGPT. Just say, my ideal client struggles with XYZ. They value XYZ, and I can solve that with my products or my business and or both. Put that in your instructions, because then on a Monday you can say, what's a motivational post I could send, or what's a motivational Facebook post I can make on a Monday that would speak to my ideal customer. ChatGPT is going to know a whole lot better what to tell you. When you say, I want to make 5 reels that would attract my ideal customer, it's going to know a lot better what to put in there for you, right? It's going to be a little less general and a bit more specific. So again, I know this was quite the exercise, and I'll go, I just found all this on a website, so I'll go find it and copy it and put it I'll put it under this recording when I share the recording. But just spend some time thinking about this, because it will help every single post, every single reel, every single time you pop in your stories. It'll help you remember who you're talking to and why you're talking to them. So I hope this was helpful, girls. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.